Well, good afternoon. It's Saturday today. I've been having the laziest, most decadent, delightful morning of doing nothing at all. I've been watching vlogs in bed today, and that's been it. It's been lovely. You may be wondering why I've got Izzy's emollient next to the bed. Well, it's all this hand washing, isn't it? Sore hands, so I've been giving myself a squirt before bed on both hands and then hopefully not touching anything then. I've been enjoying my nice clean sheets. I've also been enjoying this weather. I love this temperature. It's the perfect temperature. It makes me feel so relaxed from the tip of my head to the bottom of my toes. I feel so relaxed at this temperature, but unfortunately this is the temperature that my beloved boyfriend starts to get agitated with the heat. Anything above about 21 or 22 degrees and he gets agitated and I start to relax. We're just not compatible with temperature. His house is like a fridge compared to mine, isn't it, IB, if you're watching? Yes, it is. I was watching one of my old vlogs the other day from, I don't know, February or something, and I had a woolly hat on, I had my big thick pyjamas on, and I don't know, I just looked pasty and it was cold. I think that's what it was. All the blood had departed from my extremities. Capillaries were drained. But I'm enjoying life now. And I've also had another little revelation. Now normally I cannot stand to be barefooted. I go to bed in socks. I mean, they do work themselves off as the night goes on usually and ends up falling on the floor out of the end of the bed. But normally I don't like to be barefoot. And I've realised what it is. It's because they don't like the cold sensation. But I've just been pottering around the garden in the hot sun in my bare feet, and I loved it. It was nice. So there we are. It's taken me to age 45 to realise it was just the temperature on the feet all along. I've already had 2 cups of tea and a coffee since I've been up. I've been up since about 8:20 actually. Oh, I did get the vlog up for tonight. Does that count as work? I don't know. But anyway, I reckon it's time for more coffee. And next up for me on my list of delights today, it's a mental list, I haven't written it down, is to have a go at the world map jigsaw puzzle. Now, I've invited Izzy to do it with me, but she's not interested. She's got her own agenda. She's very self-contained, my daughter. She's always got things that she likes to do, usually drawing or Skyping friends or Instagram messaging friends or watching musical theatre online. She's #obsessed with musical theatre. Hello, gorgeous.
Hello.
Izzy and I have just been having a bit of a nosh together, haven't we, at the table?
Yep.
Izzy was talking about lockdown and how she's been coping. So how have you been coping with lockdown, dearest?
I've been coping because I see it as my time to boost myself. Like, get better at my art and things. So I've been painting and drawing a lot. And I've been working out, even though it's not fun, but I have to do it.
Right, and I know you're all champing at the bit to have a look in my courgette pots. So let's go and see what's occurring. Ta-da! Look, another one's poked its head out. And there was one in there. And now it's gone back in again. I think it's because I gave it such a big hard slosh with the hose pipe that it like squirted soil on top of it, but I'm just going to leave it and see what happens. Another beautiful day. Oh, I love it. Don't even need to do any washing. I've washed it all. Yeah, this towel is here for this. I just find towels are just easier than mats, but I guess they don't really look very tidy. You can just shove them in the washing machine every time you do a wash. They're very absorbent. You come in with wet feet. This floor gets really slippery when it's wet, and if you wear Crocs in the house and you've got a wet tiley floor, it's just treacherous. So I've always got this scruffy towel on the floor, which I did not steal from a hospital, by the way. It is a hospital towel. I did not steal it. That's another story. But yeah, so I just wipe up any drips like this as soon as I drip them, otherwise we end up going over. And I don't really want a rug because you can't clean them, whereas this, you just chuck it in the washing machine. So I'm going to have to tell you the story of the towel now, aren't I? Because I've mentioned it. Okay, so on one of Izzy's times in hospital with all over eczema when she was little, before she came out of school, One time, I don't know, something got spilt and the nurse didn't lean over to get a paper towel to wipe it up. She just used that towel, which is your, I don't know if she'd used it once or not even at all, and she just wiped it up and then she went to throw it in the bin. Like, used it like a disposable paper towel, single use, and I can't remember what was spilt. It might have been a bit of wee or something, I don't know, something a bit bodily, but not that offensive. I can't remember what it was. And she was just going to chuck it out, so I just took it home, washed it, and I've had it ever since. So I didn't steal it, but I kind of stole it out of the bin. Hey, look who turned up when I was doing that big chuck out the other day. This is Carnivorous Snowman, and he's got a halo now as well, which is his tape. Is this nail tape?
Yeah, it's nail tape. I got it for Christmas like 2 years ago.
I think it really suits him as a halo though. He's from Doctor Who. He's made out of a sock and some rice and cotton wool and marker pens. And me and Izzy actually made a craft video, didn't we, when we made it?
Oh yeah.
Years ago, Izzy and I decided to do one of these art and craft videos where we were making snowman ornaments out of socks. So I'll link that at the end of the video and you can see Izzy with a little squeaky voice because she was only little. Ah. I haven't actually got dressed yet today. I'm in my pyjamas and yeah, haven't brushed my hair. And I'm going to keep it this way until I go out for a walk later, I think. And right now I'm going to make myself some coffee and start the puzzle. Oh, yeah. Ooh. These pieces are a bit scratchy, mind. I think I prefer the cardboard one. Got my coffee made. I've got my big massive atlas out for extra reference and I'm going to go for it. I'm doing the sorting it out between side pieces and non-side pieces. This is about as exciting as it gets. Oh yes. Look at all these bitty bits. I'm going to have to get the hoover on this table. Can't really unsee those letters, can you? Done this much. That's taken me blooming ages, I have to say. Do you know, it fits together so badly that you're like, is that really meant to go there? And you have to cheat by turning it over to see if they add up on the other side. Look, if they match up. I've obviously left a couple of side pieces in the box, but I'm sure they'll come to light gradually. I think we've got enough to get started, haven't we? I think I might have had enough of doing that for now. I think it might be time to do something real. I'm feeling like maybe I'll get dressed now. I'm dressed! Ta-da! What you didn't realise was it's now 6:30 in the evening and I've only just got dressed. When I went up to get dressed before, I suddenly thought I was just wondering how much footage I'd filmed, so I ended up editing everything I'd done before, which I thoroughly enjoy. That's my favourite thing to do. Then I was hungry, so I cooked dinner. And dinner was good, and there is the remains of it. It's tortellini from the supermarket the other day with red kidney beans, cabbage, green peppers, mushrooms and soy sauce, pretty much. This cabbage from that veg stall is the best cabbage I have ever eaten in my life. Honestly, it's melt in the mouth, even raw. Absolutely delicious. Unfortunately, because the veg stall didn't have a big selection, this is now all the veg I have. But now I'm going for a walk. I'm out on my own. Izzy rarely wants to come on walks with me because she waits till I've gone out and then she goes down into Flute Cave and she starts singing along to her heart's content with backing tracks as loud as she wants. There's a smell of smoke in the air. I think somebody's burning some rubbish or something. The bunting is still up from VE day. Now I can smell food and cut grass. There's this one street I pass sometimes when I come up here. And everybody's out in the street whenever I come up in the early evening. They've got all their garden chairs out. They're spaced out, you know, by household. And they're all boozing. Like, got wine and beer on the go. And they're just having a party. I'm doing a slightly more on the beaten track walk this evening because it is a little bit later in the day and I don't want to go anywhere too secluded. The problem is it involves more humans, so I'm like scrunching into the bush to avoid the oncoming pedestrians. I do quite often, you know, see quite a few people out and about. It's only when I really get off and up into the woods that I avoid people altogether. It's a little bit of a breeze. It's quite pleasant, to be honest. I'm quite hot from climbing up the hill. So it turns out I was quite wrong about being able to go and see IB for a walk next week in the fresh air. We've got this rule about it having to be within 5 miles, and I hadn't realised. I'd just seen a thumbnail advertising it. 2 people from different households may meet in Wales from Monday as long as they stay in the fresh air and keep 2 metres from each other. Yeah, but then when I opened the article much later, I saw about the 5 miles limit, which was a massive disappointment and anticlimax. But there we are. Just have to be patient for longer. But honestly, I think it's right. I do think it's right, because Wales are certainly faring better than England at the moment with regards to containing the pandemic, and they're opening the schools from Monday in England. Not everybody's going back, but the very little ones, the year 1s and the year 6, so the very first year at school and the top year of primary school. But from what I can gather, a lot of parents are just going to refuse to send their kids in, and the government are not going to fine them, because normally they would get fined for not taking their kids to school. So I think it's going to make things very difficult for the teachers, actually, because they are responsible for providing the structure and resources for the home learning. But once they've got their children in the class as well, they're going to be responsible for face-to-face teaching. So that sounds to me like that's actually a job for 2 people, not 1. I mean, I'm not a teacher, honestly, well, apart from doing my own, but I don't know, that's facilitating. That doesn't seem quite like teaching to me. So I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen? Now, this is yet another path that I didn't know existed, so I'm very happy to have discovered yet another little route off the main track. So here in Wales, I'm not sure still yet what's going to happen about GCSEs next year. I did read an article on the BBC News app that they are kind of thinking about like reducing the number of topics that children in year 10 now are going to have to study for their GCSE exams. So that's one thing I read, that's a possibility. So if that's happening, we'd like to know what they are so we don't study the wrong ones and waste time on it. I followed all our exam boards on Twitter just in the hope that they might release some information on it as soon as they know. And the other thing that I heard that was a possibility was that they might go 100% exam-based and ditch the coursework element. Now, we're doing IGCSEs and our exams are already, Izzy's exams, feels like mine as well, Izzy's exams are already 100% exam-based, which I think does make them more difficult. And you know, I don't think home ed is an easy option, especially because of that, because the IGCSEs that we're doing are more like the old O-levels, so you don't have that sort of comfort level of the coursework having been submitted and marked prior to the exam sitting. So I don't know, but what can we do? We've just got to keep on going, haven't we? Where's a little robin? Hello, little robin. Oh, he's gone. Oh, this is lovely. Oh, I wasn't expecting it to go down. I thought it was just going parallel with the main road, but actually it totally isn't. It's going right off. Luckily it's not going to be dark for some time, and I do have a drink in my bag, so... Ooh, oh, there's no humans down here. This is great. Oh yeah, I know where I am now, actually. It's joining up with a path that I've taken before. It's getting a little bit steep and it's all dry underfoot, so there's kind of a slip risk. So yeah, we're just going to have to carry on with our studies, because if they do just go ahead as usual, and if we stop studying just in case it doesn't, then we'll be really behind and it'll be total panic station. So we're just going to have to keep going, and it's kind of hard to keep the motivation and the momentum up knowing that the whole thing could just collapse under us, you know. In a way, I'd be delighted if we didn't have to do them, because it's hard doing rote memorisation of something you're not interested in, and that's the trouble that Izzy's having, and she's trying really hard, but it's as dull as anything. She'd much rather be learning something she's interested in, and I'd be quite prepared to structure and facilitate stuff that's more interest-based. But we can't do that unless we know there are any significant changes, for sure. I've managed to get off the main beaten track again, and it's like a wonderland again. Oh, South Wales. It's the country that just keeps on giving. It's amazing. Lizzie doesn't know what she's missing. She's working on a career though. That's what she's doing. She's driven and focused. I will give her that. She's been driven and focused throughout the whole pandemic so far. And although she is desperately missing her friends, she is not letting it get her down. That's my girl. I mean, there's nothing we can do about the pandemic. We've just got to go with the flow, really, with the regulations. Oh yeah, I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, with regards to being disappointed about not being able to see IB this coming week, I do think it's right that we try to contain the pandemic to the local regions. I do agree with it, and I do think it is for the best in the long term. It's just, you know what it's like when you think you're going to see your boyfriend and then you're not. It's like, oh. It's like Christmas being cancelled, but Christmas will be rescheduled. Come across my horses now and those birds that go running across. It's a very swishy tail. I'm back on the main path now. There's people around. Wondering who that weirdo is with the camera standing by a bush talking to it. It's just occurred to me, I really take it for granted living in South Wales and being able to just shut my front door and walk and get into the countryside. And it's lovely. I really appreciate being able to do it. This is a particularly amazing looking bit, isn't it? It's like something out of an enchanted forest again. Oh, mind your head. It's a bit low. I've seen a pheasant. Got him on zoom. That's why it's so shaky. I need to press this against my head, but then I can't see the screen. Hang on. There you go, IB. Ah, keep still. It's so hard. See, the greater the zoom, the greater the shake. That's on 60 times, I think. Oh, he's cute. Ooh, look what I just found in a skip outside a house that's being done up. I've been trying to buy these, but I couldn't justify the expense. They're for my beans, you see, because that trellis isn't big enough. That was a good find. Well, I'm back home from my walk with my treasure, aka bean poles. That was such a stroke of luck. I was literally on Amazon the other day looking to see how much they cost, and I just thought, they're a bit expensive. I'll just wait and see what happens for now. So that was just perfect timing. There's not enough for the bean plants, but some is better than nothing. I have to keep my eye out, won't I, for other skips. Thank you so much for coming on my walk with me tonight, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.